Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to NXT with Najee, a part of the Wrestling Heroes and Insiders podcast, aka The Whip Show. And we are back with episode 34. I'm home, finally back home from Indy. Royal Rumble was a good time, my friends. I got some more stuff coming out on that, actually on the 11th, which is tomorrow, because we're recording this on Monday. But this episode is going to be a little bit different. We're not going to recap the show from last week or the week before. Instead, we're kind of going to talk about what's going on with NXT. I'm going to have a quick conversation about, some of the champions, some of the different moves that we're hearing about via like rumors and whatnot, and just a little quick Vengeance Day preview for you guys since it's coming up this weekend. Now, first thing I want to talk about are champions. So we still have Tony D as our North American champion, and we still have Fallon Henley as our North American champion on the women's side. Now, when it comes to Tony, I'm not quite sure as to what's getting ready to happen. Now, they seem to be beefing with Ridge Holland, and the family seems like it might actually be slowly starting to come apart. So I'm not quite sure what that means. Does that mean that maybe Tony is looking at a main roster call up? Is the family split apart? I mean, they just recently took apart Chase U. So who knows what could happen with that. All I know is that I just don't think that it would be the best move for them to break up the family because they seem to be on a little bit of a roll. I know that there, a couple of them are kind of branching out to some of the other shows. I'm not going to say too much on that because I don't want to get myself in trouble for some of the things that I do already know ahead of time. But if you guys, if you guys are feeling like the family should break up, if you guys are feeling like everybody should go their own separate ways, leave a comment below. Please, 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 please. I would love to discuss that some more with all of you. Now, another thing that I'm noticing with the family is that Izzy Dame so happens to be around now, and her and Riz seem to get along, which I'm cool with. I was worried at first that the Izzy kind of stepping in thing might create some problems with Riz, but so far so good. I'm not sure if she's joining the family. I'm not sure if she's going to be the reason why the family breaks up. But Izzy Dane being involved with the Tony D'Angelo family is something that we should keep our eye out for. Now we're going to move into Fallon. I'm not going to say too much about Fallon because I feel like I could talk about that a little bit going into the Vengeance Day preview. But so far so good. I am very much enjoying Fallon Henley as our champion, as long as her work with Fatal Influence has been great. Like I hope that faction stays together, and I hope that they continue their beef with Chemical X, which is Tatum Paxley, Shotzi, and Gigi. I like that 3 versus 3 matchup, and I hope that that's something that we can get more down the line, or maybe add more to the story or something. But like I said, Fallon, fantastic job. Maybe she retains, maybe she doesn't. We'll talk about that later. Now, moving on to our women's champion for NXT, Julia. Now, Julia is involved right now in a program with Bayley and Roxy, which I think is fantastic. Ever since Julia's been there, we knew her title reign was coming. We knew it was going to happen. I think it happened a little bit sooner than some of us thought, but that gives a big shout out to Roxy. And since we're talking about Roxanne, I might as well kind of jump right into this next part that I was going to jump in before we get to Oba. I want to say that these rumors going around about Roxy going to Raw is actually great. I love it. I think she deserves to be on the main roster. I think her time at NXT is 1,000% up, and the fans are definitely letting her know that. Like I'm one of those people. I can't lie. I boo constantly, every single week, and it's out of respect. It's not like we hate Roxanne or we have an issue with Roxanne or anything like that. Not really. We just think that she deserves better things. So. Why not? Why not? Why not let her know that her work as a heel has been fantastic by booing her out of the building every week? But don't get it twisted, Roxy. We love you. Okay? That's a special message to Roxanne. You see this face booing you every week. You see my friends booing you every week, but we love you internally. We do. As soon as you go to the main roster, we're gonna rock with you. That's just how it is. All right. Now we're gonna move on to our champion, who is Oba Femi. Obafemi is being just as dominant as we all thought he was going to be. I think this is going to be a reign that's going to last for at least a year. My personal opinion, I think until he gets drafted or something else crazy happens, he's going to keep that title. And I think you don't let him lose it. I don't think you let him lose it. I think he drops the title. I think he pulls the Indy Hartwell where he gets drafted with a belt and then decides he doesn't need it because he's Oba and he's a ruler. And I mean, who's going to beat him? I mean, unless you send Omos to NXT, like what's going on here? But yeah, I hope you guys are all feeling the same way about Oba. I think he's going to be fantastic. If you guys have any guesses or predictions as to who is going to be Obafemi for that championship, please, please, please leave them in the comments. Comment on my Facebook, comment on my Instagram, even tweet me or X me or whatever they want to call it. I would just love, love, love to create more of an interaction with you guys, the people that are watching and the people that are listening. Now, couple more things that have happened and that have changed over the past couple of weeks. They finally announced LFG, which is getting ready to be premiering. I'm pretty sure in the next couple of weeks on A&E. It's Legends and Future Greats. Basically, a lot of the NIL wrestlers that you're seeing nowadays on TV and the ones that you used to see on Level Up are going to be getting coached now by some of the old WWE legends. I believe it's Booker T, Undertaker, Mickey James, and Bubba Ray. Now, if you guys haven't had a chance to really look super into it, I suggest you do. They do a lot of the taping for the matches for LFG before we do our recordings for NXT. And when I tell you there are some fire matches on the way, y'all, fire matches and great storytelling too. You'll see some familiar faces from Level Up, and you'll also see some new ones. Now, the next show that also recently got announced is WWE Evolve. Now, this one I think is going to be based mainly around the WWE ID talent, along with some more of the NIL athletes that we've yet to see. Now, I know they used to put them in the Chase U section, whenever, people would be new and people would be training and stuff like that. But now they get an opportunity to have their own show with their own storylines, their own separate building. The whole entire vibe is going to be completely different. I do have some insight and some inside information about Evolve, but I'm a loyal person to those people that I do know, and I will not be sharing all of that information. Y'all should know by now that this is not a spoiler channel. It's just not. That's not what we do. It's not what we do. But Evolve. Please, please, please tap in and be on the lookout for that. That I believe is going to be on Tubi in March. So we got about like 4 to 5 weeks before that one premieres. But some of the people that I know are going to be involved in Evolve, incredible. Jack Cartwheel is one person that I really am just going to throw out there to say, look this person up. And if not, write that name down so that whenever that show premieres, you can say I told you so. Period. Now, we have talked about all of our champions now. We've talked about the new shows. Now, I have two individuals that I kind of want to talk about very briefly, specifically because they're, switching their character a little bit. And if we know anything about somebody turning heel on NXT, that usually means that somebody is watching them very closely and that a main roster call is more than likely on the way. Now, with Kalani, the heel turn for Kalani, that's new. That's very new for all of us. We're used to sweetheart gymnast, Michigan State, happy girl Kalani, and now we're starting to see like this badass brawler who still uses her abilities, but in a more violent and aggressive way. So seeing heel Kalani happen kind of makes me think that maybe Kalani's on somebody's radar to potentially get called up in the draft next year. Well, this year, I guess. Now, the biggest heel switch that I am seeing, and it's almost exactly a year to the date of a different heel switch involving this person. Trick Williams. A year ago, if you remember Vengeance Day, I believe is the night that Carmelo went full heel and switched on Trick, and we all found out it was him during his battle against Ilya. Now, this time around, I think it is the opposite. Trick Williams is not involved in the title picture, and he's upset because he should get a rematch clause. He should get a rematch. I don't know if a rematch clause is a thing anymore because I can't tell you the last time I've seen a champion automatically get one. But I do feel with Trick that this heel turn means that exactly what we think is happening, and he has either gotten the call or is about to get the call. So now he's showing us that he can actually put that work in and be the bad guy. I think it should be capped off by a heel Mellow either showdown or reunion. Why not? Why not bring Trick Mellow Gang back into the picture? It's not a bad idea. If not, let them feud again. Let them go to the main roster, let them feud. Yeah, so that brings me up into Vengeance Day. So as of right now, today is February the 10th. We've only had 3 matches announced for Vengeance Day. We've got Stephanie Bakura versus Fallon Henley for the Women's North American Championship. And then we have Roxanne versus Julia versus Bailey for the Women's NXT Championship. And then we have Oba versus Theory versus Waller for the NXT Men's Championship. Now, me personally, I think Trick Williams is either going to get added to this match or somehow be involved with the match. It could be a part of his heel turn that he who knows? Attacks Oba, attacks Grayson, attacks Waller. Something something's gonna happen with Trick to definitely put in place that he is now a heel. And I'm not going to give you guys any predictions for Vengeance Day because I already have a guest in mind that's going to be joining me to make those predictions very soon. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode, this very brief and different episode slash like catch up recap. I don't know what you want to call it, but I've had a great time talking with you guys about the current state of NXT. Please make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the Whip Show, Wrestling Heroes and Insiders podcast. Shout out to everybody who is a wrestling fan. And shout out to the real NXT fans. Not the ones that sit there and call it developmental, not the ones that sit there and tap into PLE every once in a while. Shout out to the real NXT fans who watch every single week, the fans that are there in the crowd every single week, the people who actually understand what's going on behind the scenes there at NXT because we have a main roster group. We have main roster talent in that locker room. And it kind of makes me upset when I hear people talk about, oh, if NXT pulls their superstars, who's going to run NXT? Bro, we're good. We're good. I'm telling you, NXT is good and we're only just getting started. So that's it for my rant. That's it for my rant, y'all. But thank you guys again for listening. This is NXT with Najee, episode 34. My name is Najee. It's been real. Thank you guys. See you soon.
Wake up, no sleeping, there's a dream to chase. I'm trying to be someone elected in this human race. No, I'm not trying to run a country, trying to mold and shape.